For 10 years, America has argued about one man, Donald Trump. His tweets, his tone, his table manners. This video is not about any of that. This video asks a very different question, the only question that actually matters. Forget about how he makes you feel. What did he actually change? I spent weeks answering it. I came back with 20 things, 20 facts that moved. A border, a war, a tax code, a mine, each one sourced to a document. A hostile reader can check. That's this video, okay? 20 accomplishments in plain English, one at a time. And at the end, I'll tell you why this list decides an election in 103 days. I'm Charlie Garcia, and this is Capital Mischief, and nobody pays me to lie to you. I've advised 6 presidents from both parties, and the one rule that survives every White House is this: the numbers don't care about how the room feels. So here are my rules for today's list. A thing counts only if the world is measurably different. A law signed, a crossing that stopped, a hostage home. Vibes don't count. Tone doesn't count either. And every item has a cost. The costs get their own video. This one is the credit. If that's the kind of honesty you want, subscribe to this channel right now. Costs nothing and annoys all the right people. So here's the map. 6 items on security, 2 on the courts, the rest on your money, your energy, and your future. Number 1, the border. Here's the problem we had. For years, millions crossed illegally, and both parties told you nothing could be done. Here's what changed. Last fiscal year, 237,000 illegal crossings, the lowest number since 1970. Richard Nixon was president. Gas was 36 cents, and deportations from inside the country running at 5 times the oil pace. Now, my favorite part, those numbers are kept by Berkeley, by people who hate the policy. That's the best kind of number, audited by the enemy. The lesson: the laws existed the whole time. Every president had the same tools. He's just the first plumber who reached into the truck. 2, NATO. Quick definition. NATO is our military alliance with Europe. We defend them. They're supposed to pay their share, and for 30 years, they didn't. Every president asked them politely. Europe sent back warm words and cold checks. And here's what changed. June 2025, every single ally signed a commitment, 5% of their economy spent on defense. Unanimous. How? He stopped asking. He sent an invoice. He suggested American protection might not be free forever. Europe priced the alternative and discovered they couldn't afford it. Turns out, maybe we won't cover you is the most productive sentence in the history of diplomacy. 3, Iran. Here's the problem. For 20 years, everyone in Washington believed the same thing. Iran's nuclear sites were untouchable. Hit them, and you start World War III. So nobody hit them. And that belief protected the program better than any missile defense. Here's what changed. June 22nd, 2025, Operation Midnight Hammer. American bombers hit all 3 hardened sites. World War III did not start. Then this year, our Navy swept Iran's fleet out of the Gulf. Their own rebuild estimate, 5 to 10 years. The honesty: the program isn't destroyed. The war isn't over. Americans have died, and that stays on the ledger. But the 20-year bluff, the one 3 presidents saluted, he called it. Number 4, the hostages. You remember, October 2023, Hamas took hundreds of people in Israel. 2 years of professional diplomacy followed. It produced conferences. Here's what changed. October 13, 2025, Under an American brokered deal with Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey, the final 20 living hostages came home. 20 families got the only outcome that counts. No joke on this one. Same things are just true. Number 5, military recruiting. The problem, a few years ago, the services couldn't fill their ranks. The experts called it permanent, said that young Americans would simply never serve again. Here's what changed. Every service hit its recruiting goal this year, months early, 103% during a war. Fair credit, the recovery started before he took office. He poured gas on it because it was never a demographic crisis. It was a marketing problem. The old ads apologized for the product. He put the warrior back in the window and the store sold out. 6, ISIS, the setup. When Syria's dictator fell, it created a power vacuum. The exact conditions that built ISIS the first time. They booked the comeback tour. They killed 2 American soldiers. Here's what changed. More than 100 American airstrikes, weapons, logistics, leadership, and then the twist nobody predicted. The new government in Damascus joined our side. First rule of counterterrorism: never let a defeated organization discover it was merely resting. Nobody let it. Tours canceled. Number 7, and this one needs a map. Armenia and Azerbaijan, 2 countries near Russia and Iran, at war on and off for about 40 years. A war older than the fall of the Soviet Union. Russia and Iran liked it that way. Frozen conflict, both sides dependent. Here's what changed. August 2025, both countries signed a peace framework at the White House, and the trade corridor between them leased to an American consortium. Yep, he named the road after himself, the Trump route. The man would brand oxygen if he could, and if the molecules could hold a Sharpie, well, you look at the move. Other presidents gets libraries, he gets a toll road with a mission, because a treaty is a promise, a lease is an interest, and America shows up to defend its lease. 8, American natural gas. Quick definition. LNG is natural gas, cooled into liquid and shipped on tankers. 10 years ago, America exported 0, right? The previous administration actually paused new export permits. He reversed that pause on day 1. Here's the result. America shipped 111 million tons, the first country in history past 100 million. We beat Qatar by 20 million tons. Why does it matter? Every American tanker to Europe is a Russian pipeline that stays empty. 0 to world champion in 10 years. In government time, that's faster than renaming a post office. Number 9, the courts. And stay with me, because this one's invisible and it's huge. For years, America had a strange rule. Any federal judge out of about 700 in the United States could freeze a president's policy for the entire country, right? Both parties abused it. Find one friendly judge, file one lawsuit, paralyze the government before lunch. 700 part-time emperors. Here's what changed. June 2025, the Supreme Court ended it 6-3. A judge's ruling now covers the people in his courtroom, not all 330 million of us. And here's the beautiful irony. The man got sued so many times, he accidentally renovated the judiciary. No one has ever litigated his way into constitutional reform this efficiently. Number 10, the unelected government. Here's a fact most Americans don't know. Since 1935, there's been a whole layer of federal agencies, whole leaders. The president could not fire officials with real power over your life. You didn't elect them. Your president couldn't remove them. Nobody was accountable to anybody. Well, here's what changed. This June, the Supreme Court struck it down 6-3. Agency heads now answer to the one person the whole country elects, which means you're fired, is now constitutional law. Sinatra got a song. This guy got his catchphrase ratified by the United States Supreme Court. That's 10 to go. Quick pause. Everything I'm saying has a source. Every number, every date, every court case, they're all in the written version on my Substack. QR code on the screen right now. Point your phone at it. You'll get an email every time I publish. The receipts don't fit in a video, but they do fit in your inbox. Back to the count. And remember the question, not how he makes you feel. What did he change? Number 11, your taxes. Here's the trick Washington played on you. The 2017 tax cuts were written to expire on purpose. It made the price tag look a lot smaller, and it meant Washington was renting you your own money. Here's what changed. July 4th, 2025, the cuts were made permanent. The brackets, the bigger standard deduction, full write-offs for business investment. Now, the honesty, it cost about $3 trillion over a decade. That's real. And it goes in the other video. But the difference stands. A tax cut with an expiration date is a gesture. He converted the lease to a deed. Number 12, schools. Okay, the problem. For 40 years, school choice died in Washington. Every voucher bill marched straight into the most powerful union in American politics and lost. Here's what changed. That same July law created something new, a federal tax credit up to $1,700 for donations to scholarship funds, money that follows the kid. Tuition, tutoring, transportation, 31 states have signed up. Now, the honesty, it starts in 2027. No scholarship has gone out yet, but the principle is now law, and a monopoly is never improved by praise. It's improved by an exit. 13, all right, the newborns. This one almost nobody covered. Every American child born 25 through 2028 now gets $1,000 from the United States government at birth, invested in American index funds, locked until they turn 18. Families can add up to $5,000 a year. Yep, he named it the Trump accounts. We covered the Sharpie thing. But think about what it really means. There are now infants in this country with stock portfolios and no object permanence, okay? Capitalists before they can burp. That's a civilization playing offense, ladies and gentlemen. So number 14, oil. Here's what a Middle East war used to mean. Gas lines, rationing, a president in a cardigan telling you to lower the thermostat. Here's what changed. This April, in the middle of a Gulf War, America pumped 13.9 million barrels a day, an all-time record. The record arrived during the shooting. That's why the war didn't wreck you at the pump. And the policy cost nothing. He didn't subsidize the oil patch. He just stopped scolding it. Cheapest energy program in history. Just get out of the way. Number 15, nuclear power. The problem. The country that split the atom forgot how to permit a reactor. Licensing took so long, it outlived the investors. True. So here's what changed. He set a public deadline. 3 new reactors running by July 4th. The country delivered 4 early under a brand new licensing rule that judges reactors by actual risk. America beat a Trump deadline. He's probably furious he didn't ask for 5. Number 16, and this one should scare you first, rare earths. The metal inside the magnets that run our F-35s, our drones, our submarines. China supplied 70% of them. Read that again. Our rival made the parts for our own weapon systems. Washington held hearings about it for 20 years. Here's what changed. The Pentagon bought the American mine, $400 million, biggest shareholder, plus a guaranteed price. So China can't bankrupt it by dumping. His answer to a strategic crisis was a real estate deal. Of course it was. It's the one language he's fluent in, and for once, the property was for all of us. So, where are we? 17. Trade. The old arrangement for 30 years, America handed out access to the biggest consumer market on earth for free, like grandma's cookies, all right? Here's what changed. He put a price tag on the jar, and the countries paid it. Indonesia signed, Taiwan signed. Both deals eliminate 99% of their tariffs on American goods, and when the Supreme Court struck down his tariff authority, he found a different law in 1 week. You cannot stop a man who reads the statute books like a menu. 18. Digital dollars. Definition first. A stable coin is a digital token worth exactly $1. It's how money moves on the internet. A $300 billion market running with no rules. Here's what changed. July 2025, he signed a law called the Genius Act. Subtlety is not on the menu. The rule inside it is the genius part. Every digital dollar must hold a real dollar behind it, cash or U.S. Treasury bonds. Follow that. He got the internet to buy the national debt. He turned the crypto bros into actual U.S. bondholders. They don't even know. Don't tell them. Number 19, Bitcoin. Here's the government's old strategy. For 15 years, seize Bitcoin from criminals, then auction it off, usually at the bottom. The worst time garage sale in the history of property. Here's what changed. March 2025, a strategic Bitcoin reserve built from coins the government already owned with one rule. Stop selling. That's it. That's the whole reform, all right? The bar in Washington is that law. Low. And for 15 years, nobody cleared it. 20. Artificial intelligence. Hear how every other government greeted AI. They convened a commission, and commissions produce what commissions produce. Documents, all right, about values. Here's what America did. Published a plan and poured concrete. Project Stargate, 7 gigawatts of computing power, $400 billion planned, because he figured out the secret. The AI race is actually an electricity race, which puts him exactly one insight ahead of the entire European Union. That's 20. Now step back, because 20 facts have one shape. Washington is a machine built to avoid decisions. The task force avoids the policy. The temporary tax cut avoids the argument. Managed decline avoids the confession. A great nation goes broke with excellent posture. And here's what should embarrass an entire city. Almost nothing on this list required new power. The authority was sitting right there in a drawer for decades, while everyone agreed, don't open the drawer. All it took was somebody rude enough to open it. All right? So now, the last thing, why this list of 20 matters right now. There's a midterm election in 103 days, November 3rd. And a midterm is not a persuasion election. Nobody changes their mind anymore. A midterm is a turnout election. The whole contest is which side puts on pants and drives to a gymnasium. And here's the hard truth for his voters. This record does not defend itself. It doesn't put on pants. It doesn't drive anywhere. 20 changed facts sitting on the couch on election day are worth nothing. All right. So below the line on my Substack, two things are waiting. The failure list with the same weighting, itemized because a record has debits, and it's also advertising. Okay. So I'm going to let you know who's going to win the House, who's going to win the Senate, the 5 races that decide both, and what I'm doing with my own money while everybody argues. QR code back on your screen. Free readers get the argument. Paid readers get the map for less than $2 a day. Lawyer Minute. My opinions, my own money, not investment advice. Do your own work. And if this made the last months clear, then cable news, hit like, subscribe to Capital Mischief right here on YouTube. So you will soon find my Substack with exactly what I'm doing and what my prediction is. And I'll tell you right now, okay? May the mischief be with you. Go to my Substack and find my prediction. I'm Charlie Garcia. This is Capital Mischief.